Hello and good morning for some, good afternoon for others, and good evening for the rest of you. This is Phantom, and we are back with Chapter 15 of For the Ones We Love, written by Flim Brothers on FIM Fiction. If you want to check out the story yourself, a link will be in the description, as well as a link to Brad's channel, who helped me out in this chapter, previous chapters, and future chapters, and just because you should. Now, you know the routine, let's get into it. This is Chapter 15, The X. A monster lives within us all, and we have all released ours at some point. A quote by Toothless and Hiccup 2. Statilda! What are you doing here? Asked the nervous Spike. Of all the worst things that could happen, this was the worst possible thing.
I should ask you the same thing, pony lover. So what, they finally kicked you out?
Spike, what is she talking about? Bitterbite crossed his arms. Spike looked at all the dragons looking at him, all giving him confused looks, with Statilda loving every moment of her ex-boyfriend's suffering. Spike swallowed the large lump that had formed in his throat. Statilda was going to ruin everything, even though he had no idea how he was going to convince them to help the ponies to begin with. Still, her being here was definitely not helping. He had to figure out a way to get her out of here before she ruined everything. But how? Statilda, can I talk to you for a second? In private. He didn't give the dragoness much choice as he grabbed her by the claw and pulled her away from the rest of the group into a small, quiet alley. He pinned her to the wall. Okay, what the hell was that? The female dragon smiled, a wicked one.
Aw, we haven't told your new friends that we have a pony fetish.
She pinched Spike's cheek.
That's too bad, my little spiky wikey.
Don't call me that! And it's not a fetish!
Beautify it all you want, Spike. It's still weird. I mean, you dumped me for a four-legged grass muncher.
I dumped you because you're a terrible girlfriend. He pressed his claws harder into Statilda.
What are you going to do, Spike? Kill me? Rip my throat out and discard me behind some rock?
She felt the pressure on her neck beginning to ease up. I've done worse, and I'm about to face worse. It's why I'm here.
Face worse?
A curious smile stretched across her face.
Do tell.
It's a threat to Equestria, and the whole world. A third alicorn by the name of Conquest is coming, and he's bringing an army to destroy the world. The ponies, dragons, everything. He plans on leaving nothing left breathing.
So you ran away from it all to hide back among the dragons? How very brave of you.
I'm not here to hide. I'm here to get help.
From who? The dragons?
Spike nodded. Statilda started to break down into a fit of uncontrollable snickers. She slid her back down on the wall in her fit.
That's priceless. I can't figure out if you're really that naive or just plain stupid.
How is it stupid?
Because you think they're gonna listen to some pony lover? The second you ask for help to defend the ponies, you're gonna get laughed out of Volcana, and maybe even banished.
I figured. But what if I told you that Curator was involved? Statilda's laughter immediately stopped at the mention of the alicorn's name.
What did you say?
Curator. He's behind all of this. The dragon shook her head in disbelief.
That's impossible. He died thousands of years ago, when he went insane or something.
He did. Well, he went insane, that is. The princesses have had him in prison for thousands of years, and now he's out to bring the end of the world, and that includes the dragons.
So, this Conquest guy, he's actually Curator from the Dragon Wars?
Correct.
Well, this hardly changes anything. We'll just wait for him to attack here. If we're lucky, he'll kill all the ponies and we can retake Equestria.
What? No, that's not what I meant! Statilda quickly broke free of his hold and pinned him against the wall.
Then what did you expect?
She asked, her brown lips inches away from his. He could feel her hot breath pound against his face with every word.
I'll admit you might have a bit of a case with you, Spike. But with no proof, no one to back you up, they'll laugh you out. Pin you is mad.
She smiled.
But if you were to have some other dragon help testify for you...
Spike didn't like where this was going. What do you want?
Now what makes you think I wouldn't help you out for free? It's not like there's anything you have that I want.
Just tell me what you want, Slatilda.
So forward, just like I remember.
She pressed up closer to him, her bust squishing against his chest as he felt pressure in all the wrong places.
I want you, Spike.
Out of the question. I'm not sleeping with you.
Sleep with me? Your mind is so dirty, Spike. And I don't feel like having eggs just yet. No, all I want is a kiss. Just a kiss.
What?
Just a little taste of those sweet lips of yours. That's all I want.
She looked sexily into his eyes. Spike looked back. As much as he hated to admit it, Slatilda did have some very desirable qualities. Her shapely body, those glowing red scales, and her sapphire eyes that reminded her so much of Rarity.
Excuse me?
I can't do this. He shoved the dragoness off of him. I'll face them alone if I have to, and maybe I'll get laughed at, and they'll throw me out, but I'll never do that. He walked away and out of the alley. She quickly dashed in front of him, cutting off his path.
If you love her so much, you'd do anything to save her, wouldn't you?
Spike scrunched up his face. Yeah, of course.
So wouldn't not kissing me be a bad thing? Without the dragons to protect your precious little pony, won't she die?
I won't let that happen.
Then you'll kiss me.
I'm not kissing you!
Spike!
She wrapped her arms around Spike's waist, trapping his arms in her hold.
I'm trying to help you. By kissing me, you'll be saving her.
By kissing you, I will be cheating on her, he retorted, but his voice was losing its edge.
It's just a kiss.
Her voice coursed through his body like a warm summer breeze. It was almost hypnotic, the way her body felt against his, the slow drag of her claws down his back that sent pleasurable shivers down his side, the sparkle in her eyes, like 1,000 glittering stars all contained in her colorful blue irises. Just one kiss? To save Rarity? The burning temptations in her eyes were clear. Her heart was thumping loudly, as was his. His eyes grew heavy, the weight of the world on them. His claws were trembling, a mixture of fear and forbidden excitement and arousal. His lips were soft, as he pressed them against the dragoness's. She tasted just as he remembered, bitter like rocks, yet spicy like fire. It was a strange taste that only a dragon could love, and a taste that he was ashamed to admit that he missed. They lingered a bit, the kiss lasting much longer than it should have, and when they finally parted, Spike's face was completely red.
What's the matter?
She stroked the back of his scales.
Dragon got your tongue?
That was... Spike didn't know what to think. It was just...
Perfect. Outstanding. Sexually exhilarating. I'll take any. Or all.
The dragon slid down the wall. The guilt that started to build up inside of him was excruciating, tearing up his insides like a pack of rabid dogs. Not because he kissed another dragon, his ex-girlfriend in fact, but rather it was something much worse that tormented his soul. He had enjoyed it. He had not only betrayed Rarity, but he had taken pleasure in the act. Was it the way Slatilda had done it that made him feel so dirty, blackmailing him into it? He couldn't put a claw on it. All he knew was that his heart was punishing him for what he had done.
What's the matter? Enjoyed it a little too much?
We shouldn't have done that.
Why? Afraid that your mare will find out?
She smiled.
Or afraid that deep inside you finally realize that, like it or not, you're a dragon, not a pony. The sooner you figure that out, the better, Spike. A kiss from a pony will never be as hot as a kiss from your own kin. It's just natural to love me more than that fluff ball back in Equestria.
She walked out of the alley, leaving Spike alone with his thoughts. I am a dragon. A stupid, stupid dragon that's in love with a pony. A stupid, stupid dragon that's in love with a pony, and had just broken that pony's trust by cheating on her. And I highly doubt that conquest had anything to do with this one. He remembered the Luna incident.
What? Something I didn't have anything to do with? That doesn't sound like me.
The purple drake glanced up to his side, seeing the all too familiar conquest grinning down at him, leaning casually against the wall of the alley.
It takes pride and effort to make your life a living hell, Spike, and it pains me to see someone else beat me to the punch.
Go away, Conquest. I'm not in the mood for this.
But I am. Now tell me who this remarkably wonderful dragon is. I simply must get her name.
Her name is Slatilda. She's a. Spike hesitated, realizing it'd be best to keep the insane pony in the dark on this one.
Ex-lover of yours?
Apparently, he could see in the dark.
Or did you not take it that far?
It never got more than puppy love. We never did it, and we never will.
Is that sadness I hear in your voice?
A great big happy smile was plastered on his face.
Are we having second thoughts about rarity?
Never! Even if I did, me and Slatilda could never work together.
Could never work or didn't want it to work?
The alicorn grinned.
I smell a story. Would you care to share?
No.
Oh, come on, Spike. Don't be such a buzzkill. I shared my story, now you share yours.
Not telling you it.
You don't have to tell me, Dragon. I'm already in your mind. See, your mind is like a labyrinth, but I am never lost. Each time you think, it lights a path to a new memory. All I have to do is follow it.
The pony disappeared in a puff of black smoke just as Slatilda walked back into the alley.
Hey, are you coming or what?
Spike pulled himself up from the ground. Yeah, I'm coming. He mumbled as he and the other dragon made their way back into the center of town, where the other gang of drakes were waiting.
What the hell took you so long?
Asked Dust Devil as the two dragons approached them. Slatilda was the first to respond.
Oh, we just had a little argument about me using Spiky's old nickname.
She grinned.
But soon we kissed and made up.
Spike almost gagged at the word kiss. Yeah, metaphorically speaking. So, your nickname is Pony Lover? Wondered Bitterbite. How'd you get that nickname? Irony? Something like that. But it's just a nickname. That's it. She calls me Pony Lover, I call her crazy psychotic bitch. The world keeps turning.
Watch it, Pony Lover,
growled Slatilda, the subliminal message clear not to push it. Fine, whatever. Lurch looked at the two curiously. Are you two sure you're alright? Perfectly! He yelled in the dragon's face. So can we just drop it? Whatever you say. Thank you. Now, where do we have to go next?
Main cave. We need to pick up some captured livestock for the hatchery.
What's a main cave?
It's where the majority of the food is kept, under the watchful eye of the elder dragons.
Wait, do you mean like the leaders of the dragons?
Well, yeah, but we usually just grab the food and...
And would one be able to get an audience with them? Not likely. They usually keep to themselves, only going out to hunt or pass judgment on someone who's broke guileless law. Why do you ask? No reason. Just curious is all. The dragons lifted at that as they followed Bitterbite to the main cave, a large cave that had an icy blue boulder dragon standing in the way. State your business, little ones.
We're here for the hatchery share of livestock.
Dust Devil flew up eye level to the massive drake.
So let us in!
Watch your tongue, Sky Drake, lest I devour you.
I'd like to see you try.
The giant dragon's tongue shot out of his mouth and towards the flying drake. Dust Devil anticipated this, swiftly dodging the sticky tongue.
You're too slow,
Dust teased, sticking out his tongue at the dragon. But he was unaware of the second tongue that shot out of the dragon's mouth, this one latching around the ankle and dragging him into the icy blue dragon's gullet. Dust was swished around a bit before he was spit out, covered in a thick layer of dragon's drool. Ugh, too salty to eat. He waddled out of the way of the entrance. You may enter. The cows and goats are in the back, and the chickens, fish, and rodents are to the left. Thanks, smiled Bitterbite, as they all entered the main cave, Dust Devil muttering something about smelling like fish. The cave building was gigantic, like a small city within a city. Smaller doors were sculpted into the walls that led to other rooms. Each had a sign over it saying things like cattle or chickens or squirrels carved into the wood.
Alright, everyone, listen up!
Ordered Glimmer as Lurch and Dust Devil fell into attention. Spike and Slotilda looked at them oddly.
Lurch, I need you to grab 2 cattle. Dust, bring up some chickens. Me and Bitter are going to see what they have for pigs.
What about me? Glimmer pulled out some flimsy-looking pieces of paper from within her scales.
You and Slotilda could take these to the geek.
The geek? Glimmer, don't be mean. She means the bookworm. He's down the hall and to the right, next to the meeting pit. Got it, he said as he and Slotilda walked down the hall away from the others, heading into the room labeled Library. Dragons have libraries?
We're not all stupid like you,
muttered the dragoness as she started to push through the door. Where do you think you're going? He grabbed her by the shoulder and pulled her back.
To give these to the bookworm,
she said, a frown on her face. No, you're not. We're going to find the elders and convince them to help Equestria. He smiled. We have a deal, remember?
Oh, how could I forget?
Spike pulled her down the hall and to a large golden gate built into the back wall of the cavern. The words meeting pit was scratched into the gold. Is this the place?
Yepers, the elders are in there. But I must say again that you're completely crazy for doing this.
Trust me, Spike said as he pushed the golden gates open and walked inside. I personally know Crazy, and I don't have his smile. The doors closed behind the 2 dragons, slamming shut and leaving them in the dark. Spike could hear Slotilda sigh.
This is so not worth just a kiss.
The 2 of them walked deeper into the darkness. Neither knew what they were supposed to be looking for. It wasn't until they reached what seemed like the center of the room that they had any sort of inclination that there was someone or something else here.
Who enters the pit?
A female voice called from the shadow.
State your names and your business, little ones.
An even louder male voice boomed. Spike, he managed to stutter. And this is Slotilda. We wish to have an audience with the elders.
Really?
A second male voice asked.
And what makes your business so important?
It's about the safety of the world. An evil threat has reawakened. There was a thunderous laughter from the dragons in the darkness.
He must be mad to think that anything could threaten a dragon.
This was it, the moment that would make it or break it for him. He took a deep breath as he finally yelled, It's about Curator! The laughter immediately stopped. Hushed whispers replaced them.
Does he speak the truth? Of course not. Curator's been dead for years.
But he was an alicorn.
That means nothing.
But should we at least let him speak?
And let him infect us with lies and fairy tales. Don't make me laugh.
Some humor would do you good, brother.
Both of you stop it. You're acting like whelps.
We should hear out the dragon. At least hear what he has to say.
Very well. Lloyds.
The entire cave lit up in a glorious yellow flame, illuminating the cavern and revealing 5 towering dragons. By the goddess! Spike gasped as he looked at the elders. He thought that Baba D or his mother were big. These dragons were the size of skyscrapers. The one on the far left was a boulder dragon. He was a light gray, and he must have been at least 300 feet in length and width. Beside him was what looked like the female Skirin. The shortest of the 5, she still looked to be about 250 feet tall, and was a lime shade of green with an electric yellow underbelly. On the other side, on the far right, was a deep blue earth dragon with pale white eyes. Next to him was a red cloud dragon. She looked like she stretched out to be about 600 feet in length. But it was the dragon in the center that really stuck out. A humongous green and yellow fire dragon, the tallest at 800 feet tall. His head stretched to the top of the ceiling, and every bit of his body seemed to pulse with unimaginable power. The large green dragon looked down at him, sizing up the small dragon.
Do you know who I am? I am Inferno, ruler of the dragons. Gaia's firstborn, may her soul rest in the earth, and head of this council of elders. And my time is very precious, so do not waste it.
Brother, the earth dragon said, you're overwhelming him.
Try being a little calmer. We had a talk about this, didn't we?
I will act as I please, Rockjaw,
sneered Inferno.
It is you who must learn his place.
The Rockmouth seemed to ignore his sibling as he redirected his attention to Spike.
So tell us, Spike, is it true? Has Curator really returned?
The Purple Drake nodded. He has, and he is enlisting an army in the Wastelands. We already know that he has the Griffins, Minotaurs, and Changelings with him, along with possibly any other race that he has been able to get his hooves on.
Has he made a threat against Vulcana or the Badlands?
Asked the Cloud Dragon. Not that I know of, but if history has any indicator of what he can do, we need to deal with him as soon as possible. Spike smiled. His plan was working way better than he had imagined.
Where is he to strike first?
The Sky Dragonist asked. Canterlot.
Canterlot? Curator's attacking Canterlot? Why would he attack his own kind? I thought this was a threat against Vulcana.
It is, but the thing that's attacking Canterlot, it's Curator, but it's also not him at the same time.
Speak clearly, whelp. Is it Curator or isn't it?
It is Curator, but he's been possessed or something, Spike explained. Look, it's not important. What is important is that we get to Canterlot to stop him before it gets out of control.
Why so eager to protect the pony, Spike?
Inferno questioned.
How exactly do you know about all this anyways?
Because he's a pony lover.
All the attention was turned to the dragon who spoke.
He wants to protect some stupid mare that he fancies, so he thought he could trick you all into sending dragons to die for them.
Spike felt his body get hot and his bones get shaky. He leaned up to Slotilda's ear. What the hell are you doing? We had a deal. The dragoness gave a little giggle.
I sorta lied. It's so much fun to watch you squirm.
Spike, is this true?
Of course not, the Drake tried to explain. You've got it all wrong. He's going to destroy everything. After he conquers Equestria, he's going to come after the Badlands.
So you deny loving a pony?
Yes.
Then prove it. If you really care about our kind, you'll show that dragoness beside you affection.
What?
Yes, Spiky.
She cooed, becoming very interested in the new conversation.
Show me how much you love me.
But we're not even together!
We don't care. This is just to prove that you do not love one of those vile ponies.
Spike sighed as he managed a smile, gritting his teeth to keep the fake grin up as he turned towards his ex. Oh, Slotilda, you're so very lovely, and your eyes are so beautiful. Everything about you makes me want to.
Yes, lover. I'm waiting.
The purple dragon swallowed what was left of his pride. Makes me want to just ravage you. Ugh. He nearly gagged at that last part.
I'm flattered.
Slotilda said, smiling at the pain the dragon was in.
Come here.
She grabbed the dragon by the neck and pressed her lips into his. It tasted much worse than the last time, much dirtier. Where there used to be a spicy taste of fire, there was just a taste of slime. The feelings of a disturbing pleasure were replaced with a sense of hatred. This dragon had screwed him over, lied to get pleasure, and she was doing it again. And for what? Was this some sort of revenge for the breakup? Had she really taken it that badly? He pulled away from the dragon. No! I can't do this!
Do what, Spiky?
You don't get to call me that! This caused the dragoness to jump back. There's only one mare that gets to call me that, and you aren't her!
One mare? So you are a pony lover?
Spike looked to the elders. The look in their eyes said everything. He had been had. The only thing he could do now was tell the truth. My name is Spike the Dragon, he began. This wasn't going to be easy. Just Spike. I don't have a fancy dragon name because I wasn't born in Volcana, or anywhere in Equestria. I was hatched by the Princess Celestia, Queen of the Ponies, after my mother, Nightfire, was killed by a mad alicorn named Conquest. I lived my entire life with a purple unicorn named Twilight Sparkle, and work as her assistant in a library. When I was 7 years old, I fell in love with a unicorn. He took a deep breath as he continued. Her name was Rarity. She's the kindest, most generous, most beautiful pony I've ever seen. From the moment I saw her, I knew that there would never be another creature on this planet that I would love more. The others said that it was just a crush, something that would go away with time, but it never did. I still loved her. Now came the painful memories. A few years ago, when I was 15 years old, Twilight thought I was old enough to fly to the Badlands and try to reconnect with my own kind. I didn't want to go, because the last time I tried something like this, the experience was less than desirable. However, Twilight can be a bit stubborn and very insistent. I said goodbye to my friends, and I could have sworn that Rarity was crying as I left. I flew across the ocean and landed in a small settlement called Burntwood. That's where I met Slotilda. Spike, stop, growled Slotilda, but he didn't. She was the only dragon that actually would talk to me. Everyone else avoided me like I had some sort of disease, but not her. Not Slotilda. She didn't care that I had lived with ponies my whole life. She was a good, caring dragon, and for a while, I thought that maybe there was something there. I said stop! She yelled, her eyes starting to get red and puffy. It was this one evening. During the sunset, she invited me to go and watch it on one of the nearby cliffs. I decided that there wasn't any harm in seeing the sunset, so I went with her. The sunset was beautiful, and the dragon was even more so. Her scales glittered in the glow of the sun as her tails intertwined with each other. Our bodies scooted closer together as I wrapped my arm around her. We shared our first and only kiss that night. Slotilda's eyes were full of tears as he continued. The next day I woke up next to her on that field. For a few moments, I was happy. Then she reached over to embrace me. Her hands were a little too frisky as she accidentally reached into a few of my loose scales that I liked keeping things in. And she pulled out a picture I've always kept on me. It was a picture of Rarity. Things got worse as she started to ask who this was, and why I had a picture of a pony in my scales. I tried to explain, but she didn't listen. She asked me if I loved her, and I told her, yes, the now crying dragoness whimpered. You loved a pony over your own kind, Spike, because apparently I wasn't good enough for you. That's not what I... Shut up! You're so hypnotized over this furry siren. You are completely ignorant to the fact that I loved you. Tears were pouring down her face. I loved you, and you didn't even care. That's not true. I did care. I've always cared. I wish I could love you, but I just can't. That's right, Spike. You can't love, and I hope you and all the ponies burn. She roared as she unfolded her wings, taking flight, leaving the room in a fiery-induced rage and a trail of tears. It was dead quiet, nobody saying a word, until finally Rockjaw gave a cough to break the silence. That was a very moving story, but I think you got a little sidetracked. You were saying something about a threat. Right. Anyways, a few weeks ago, I had just proclaimed my love to Rarity, the pony that I love, but the next day, I got the call. I was rushed to Canterlot because a threat had been made against it. The princesses told me about a prophecy, one that one of their siblings would rise to destroy the world, and the only one that could stop him is a dragon. This alicorn is none other than Curator, but he's gone insane, possessed by what I believe is a demon named Conquest. Conquest threatens everything in existence. He doesn't want to rule us or enslave us. He just wants to kill everything.
And that is why you are here, to recruit us to stop this conquest.
That is correct,
Well, Spike,
said the large green dragon. For the first time, he was actually smiling.
I thank you for this information. If it proves to be true, then when Conquest enters the Badlands, I will personally rip him to shreds.
Wait, When he gets to the Badlands, you mean that you're not going to help?
Why would I help? I hate the ponies. This is going to kill two birds with one stone. Conquest will kill the ponies, and then I will kill Conquest. Then I will take Equestria back for the dragons.
Spike was stunned. You can't do that!
I just did. Now leave. I have a war to wait for.
The room went dark, leaving Spike alone in the shadowy blackness. Are you kidding? After all I've done and I get nothing? He stormed out, turning around to face the windows. He killed my mother, you bastards! He pushed open the golden doors, finding 4 familiar dragons standing outside, waiting for him.
That was quite the speech, pony lover,
said Glimmer. You heard that, huh? Asked Spike, giving a little chuckle at the situation. Bet you think I'm some sort of freak. Kinda, but I've seen worse. I mean, look at Crackle. And I guess I know where they're coming from, said Bitterbite, putting a claw around the bronze Cloudweaver's shoulder. I would do anything to protect my Glimmer. And if this Conquest guy really killed your mom, well, I know I'd want to kill him, admitted Dust Devil. Spike smiled. It was amazing that these dragons were so understanding to his situation. Maybe it was because, like him, they were orphans, never really knowing a mother, and truly understanding what it is to love. I'm glad that you're so understanding of my situation. But I think it's time for me to go home. I miss my mare, and the war is going to be soon.
Cool. So when do we leave?
Excuse me? Well, we're coming with you. We look after our own. I'm touched. Spike smiled. But I can't let you guys risk your lives for this.
And risking the entire species was okay? Whether you like it or not, you're stuck with us.
You really want to do this? It's going to be dangerous. There's a good chance we'll all die. We all have to die. Why not go down in screaming glory? The purple drake let out a breathless sigh. All right, let's go. And that was Chapter 15 of For the Ones We Love, written by Flim Brothers on FIM Fiction. If you're checking the story yourself, again, link will be in the description. Link to Brad's channel as well. So, yeah, Chapter 15 done. May get to Chapter 16 next week. So, fingers crossed. In any case, remember to show that support by subscribing, leaving a comment below, liking the video, etc., etc. And, again, subscribe for more videos, more For the Ones We Love, more just other readings and other stuff that I do. And subscribe to Brad's channel, follow Flim, la 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 la. I'm running on, no sleep after, 40-some hours of staying awake, so it's a bit rough getting through this one. In any case, thank you all for listening. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.